Hi there, crafty friends. It's Diane, the Creative Inkster. It is Tuesday, March the 1st, and we're going to do a little technique here for this fun card. Not necessarily a fun fold, but certainly a paper folding technique that you can use with any pretty pattern papers that you've got. So I hope that you'll pop in and leave me a comment and let me know you're watching. And if you're watching on replay, leave me a note there too. Always like to know who's been along for the ride. So let's get started on this card. I'm going to keep an eye on the comments and hopefully interact with you. So what you need is some circles. Now you can get these circles a couple of different ways. These are our layering circles dies. These are the flat edged ones, not the scalloped edge ones. And this one is about 2 inches. It's fifth in from the largest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's the one that I've used, and it makes a circle about 2 inches. Or if you have been around a while, hi Debbie, if you've been around a while, you might have a 2-inch circle punch. Mine have yellow dots because they're retired, but I still use them from time to time for various other projects. So 2 inches is the size we're going for here. And if you've never seen this before, it's kind of a fun little way just to take some paper and do some folding. So like I said, you need 8 circles. So I use this paper, oh, I should tell you, on this one here, I use the Cranes of Fortune paper. Hi, Brenda. That's new in the January to June mini catalog. And on this one I'm going to show you tonight, I'm using the, let me get the name right, Expressions in Ink. It has lovely patterns on both sides. Now I first cut some of these ones which have gold flecks in them, and I thought they'd be beautiful, but on the back side I realized they're not all pattern colors on the back. Some of them are just white because of the back side of this paper, so probably not the best choice. So instead I'm going to use these guys here. All right. And you want them to be somewhat coordinating. I mean, most of our papers are coordinated on both sides, but it sometimes happens that they're not. You're also going to need a circle cut from the same, so whether you use your dies or you use a punch, and you want to sort of score it so you know where the center is. So really, I just put this down on the grid paper and grabbed my ruler and drew some lines. This is the piece that we're going to build the flower onto. All right, I'm going to show you first how to do the fold with a piece of white so that you can see it really well, because once we start working with the pattern paper, it's not quite as easy to see. So basically, I've drawn on here. Basically, you're going to take a circle, you're going to fold it in half, and you can use your bone folder. It is recommended to be using patterned paper and not cardstock for 2 reasons. One, cardstock's so much thicker, it's going to leave these really obvious wiggly, I don't even know what the word is, sort of creases in there. And so so it's thicker, and for that reason too, it won't fold quite so nicely. So anyway, you're going to fold it in half, open it up, fold it in half again. Don't worry, I'm going to show you with all these circles down here. So all that does is give you the folds in, don't look at these lines just yet, it's going to give you the fold lines. Then you're going to turn it so that it's down here in front of you with whatever side up, it doesn't matter, you can flip them around. So you've got your square look here. On one side of that you're going to fold up, and you're folding up from the point on the ends. Okay, so I drew a line here to show you from this point to this point you're folding up, and then you do the same on the one to the side of it. It can be the left or right side, it really doesn't matter. So from the point at the bottom to the point at the right, you're going to fold it up so it looks like this. Then you're going to flip it over, and you're going to take that straight edge from where it was folded, and you're going to push this up to the vertical line, the up and down line here, and you're going to fold that in. Okay, it's not going to work great with the cardstock, but this would sort of give you the idea of the template. And basically when you do that, which I'm going to try not to do in the air, I'm actually going to do on my table, what you end up with is that shape. Oops, with two sides of the paper showing. So with the template out of the way, let's do it with the real stuff. Here we go. Here's circle number 1. Did I mention you need 8 circles? That's 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you were to cut them out of a strip of 4 by 12, you'll get 9, possibly 10 if I lined them up better, out of a 4 by 12 piece like this. I use some scraps for these ones. So let's do this fold. So we're going to fold it over in half. You don't have to use a bone fold. You can do all that at the end, but I'm just going to do it as I go. Then you're going to open it up and you're going to fold it in the other direction. Like one of those cootie catcher things that we had when we were kids. You know what I mean. Okay. So you've got 4 triangles of the pie that you can see. Now we're going to fold from this point to the bottom point. We're going to fold up. So you're just folding it so that the point folds over. Just so that the point folds over. So there's your vertical line. Let me just hold this straight. And there's your horizontal line. And you're going to fold that edge up. And we're going to do the same on this side. You're going to watch me do 8. So I really think once you see me do 8, you'll be in sync with me. And it's easy to get offline, like, and not have it line up perfectly. And that's okay. With the pattern paper, you can just keep folding it back. All right, so we've got our 2 little pieces stuck up. We have 2 points. We're going to flip it over. And these straight edges here, they're going to fold up to the vertical line here. So I'm going to do this on the green. Maybe it's easier to see. So I've taken this vertical line from the circle and I folded it up to this line down the middle. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And essentially what you're doing is just doing some paper folding so that you can see both sides of the paper. And that's how one petal looks. Okay? So I'm going to do a couple more and I'll repeat the steps as I go. And then I'm sure you'll get it. And the one thing you need to remember is to fold them the same way. So the same side up. Okay, so we're going to fold it in half, open it up, fold it in half again. Make it so you see the 4 pies, 4 segments of pie. Okay, and then we're going to fold this edge with that vertical line straight. We're going to fold from point to outer point, and same on the left side, from point to outer point. This is only the second one. Don't worry for joining late. I'm going to show you them all. So we end up with a piece that looks like this. That's our pieces folded up. And you're going to flip it over. And you're going to take that straight edge here from the bottom point and you're going to fold it up to the vertical line. And same on the other side. And I think what I'm going to do is move the camera down so it might be a little bit closer. So bear with me because it's tight. If I bring it down closer, maybe you can see a little bit better. I don't have a zoom on it. There we go. So that's what it looks like. Next one. So folding over, I'm starting with the very colorful side out. And folding over to create 4 pie shapes. Open it up with one of the lines vertical to you. You're going to go from this point to this point. You're just going to fold the edge up. Just enough that the point bends over. You don't need to go too far. And we're gonna fix the center a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to, if it's really messy in the center, something that you can do as you make these. Then when you've got this shape, you're gonna flip it over, and you're gonna take that straight edge and fold it up to the vertical line. And same on this side. You might have to watch this video again. I had to watch it a couple times when I did it. It's been years since I've done this one. And I'm done at the end. I tend to give them a little bit of a press, and that will help them stay in place. Once you've got your 8 petals done, then the assembly is really quick. All right, that's 3 rather. Fold your circle in half. Again, it's a 2-inch circle. Open it up, turn it so that the line's vertical to you. Fold it in half again, so you have 4 equal pie pieces. Then with a line vertical to you, you're going to fold the edges in the bottom from point to point, and then again from point to point here. You might have to fold the paper over to see the point. To see the point. You don't want to overdo it. Oh, see? I got talking, and there we go. All right, so we have it looking like this. We're going to flip it over. We're going to take that straight edge and line it up with the vertical, and take that straight edge and fold it back to line up with the vertical again. I guarantee when you've done one of these flowers, you will be in good stead for making more. Are you going to make 50? Don't know. I don't know if I'll make 50. Maybe not. Haven't done this one in a while, but it's kind of nice to do some different kind of paper folding. All right, so I've done, see? Yeah, good. Now we're going to fold up from point to point and point to point here. So now I've got a different piece of the paper where the colors are a little bit different. That's okay, it's all the same pattern. It's just going to be pretty anyway. Flip it over. Go straight edge up to the vertical line. You might think you need really tiny fingers for this. I'm not sure about that. Or even a steady hand. And it's okay if it gets messed up at the bottom because it's going to cross over a little bit. And fold this edge up. So you can see if you were trying to use cardstock that it wouldn't go quite so smoothly. All right, fold this in half and open it up. Turn it, fold it in half. We've got 4 pie shapes. And then with this line vertical, we're going to go point to point, just enough that the point folds over, not too much over that. And this one, once we've got those, it looks kind of like this with a rounded edge. We're going to flip it over, and we're going to go straight edge up to the vertical line. And one more time on the right. Nearly done. I'm going to get those other 2 done real quick. If you're just joining me now, take a moment to go back and check out the really more detailed steps from the first couple. Fold this nice little edge up. I did a couple on the last card and realized I didn't have the paper going in the same direction. So if that happens to you, no problem. You just unfold it and refold it on your score lines, and it'll be just fine. It'll actually give it the crinkly kind of look on your card so that your petals aren't perfect paper. They have a little bit more of a crinkly look to them, which is good because nature is not perfect. much as we'd like to think it is not. So we don't need to replicate it that way. This is our last one, so that's 8 for each card. It's kind of a nice one to kind of put in the arsenal of card making, something else to do with paper. Flip this side over and line up the straight edge from here with the vertical. And then we'll be ready to do our assembly. The next part's easy. And there we go. Very nice. Okay, so now for the assembly. I've got a card base. What I did with my original one was I stamped the greeting and then I ran the top layer through an embossing folder. So I'll do that real quick here. I'm using Create with Friends stamp set. So I use Celebrate and Create. I'm going to use Celebrate again. I think it's the one I like the most in this. And I'm going to ink it up. This is Pear Pizzazz, but the pink in this is polished pink. So I'm going to use that for my greeting. And I'm going to put it near the bottom. I'm fairly confident that it's not going to be, I'm going to have lots of room for my flower. Then I'm going to take this time the gingham embossing folder, and I'm just going to put the top layer through. So I can just push this in here this far. So I'm embossing it after stamping it. Over here, my Stamp and Cut and Emboss on the side. This is where the camera's going to probably jiggle. I'll run that through. And we have a nice embossed front. Let's get those out the way. Here we go. And now we're going to build our flower and stick it on. This is where the white circle with the lines that were done with a ruler just to get the center point is ready. I'm going to use some, hi Vicki, I'm going to use some Stamp and Seal adhesive. I'm going to cover this entire white piece. It doesn't have to be white, it's just easy to see what you're doing and see your lines. I'm going to cover the entire thing with adhesive. Sticky, sticky. And then I'm going to start to add my petals. So I'm going to start by putting one on the vertical piece and the point into the center. Just like that. Then I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to put it in the opposite spot down that line. It just helps me get it lined up well. Then I'll take one on the horizontal line. And I'm putting that larger piece down. And then I'll put this piece here. I'm not paying a lot of attention to the colors. Actually, I probably shouldn't push it all the way down in case I needed to move it a bit, but I didn't find that I ever did. Then I'm going to put them in between. And in between this one. So this one's a little bit fatter. Just the way it came out. So you can decide if you want to slide these in between the ones there or stick it over top. You can play with that. However, it fits in there nicely for you. And so it's not too lopsided. And I got 2 more pieces to go. And the last one. So like I said, you can push it in and have the, if you can kind of look at this, you'll see that the diagonal ones I put in last are the petals that are on top. It makes quite a stunning piece. Oh, this one's just not pressed down hard enough. Okay, and that's what the back looks like. So we will add it to our card front. I'm going to take some liquid glue and just kind of add this around. You could have used a pattern paper circle. The white just made it easier for me to see my lines. And then from here you can decide how you want it to land. That just pushes it down. I wanted all my base petals to be glued down in place. Okay, pretty stunning, right? And then all it needs now is an embellishment. Now, if you find that you have done your circle and you have too much space in the middle, you can just punch out or use one of these circle dies, or even a smaller one, and just put something in the middle there. But I found so far that I can just use a large embellishment to tidy up the center. And I'm using the Gilded Gems, the big ones. I don't like the big ones normally, so they're perfect for a project like this. Like, I don't like them on cards generally. And, you know, let's just add a couple of other ones on the sides, because this is going to be pretty high, even though it doesn't have dimensionals. It's kind of high up for going into an envelope anyway. So, there. Those like this. Need to keep some of these. I'm using them in a class coming up, and I need a bunch of them. Alrighty, there we go. So that is the Dahlia paper fold technique in 2 different patterns. Different, huh? Just a different idea. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. And thanks for watching. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week on Monday for our escape room at 7. Bye for now.